In the early 1900s, one of America's most prolific serial unalivers roamed the railways, yet his name remained unknown for over a century. This is the chilling story of Paul Muller, the man from the train, whose sadistic rampage left a trail of devastation across the American Midwest. Between 1898 and 1912, a series of brutal axe unalivings terrorized small communities near railroad tracks. The unaliver's signature was horrifyingly consistent. Entire families were slaughtered in their beds, typically with their own axe, which the unaliver would find in their tool shed. The houses were never robbed, and the mirrors were often covered with the victims' clothing. The victims were predominantly German-American families, living within walking distance of train tracks. Most heartbreaking of all, children were not spared. In fact, they were often the primary targets. The culprit would strike in the late hours of night, when families were most vulnerable, leaving no survivors to tell the tale. What drove this monster? Research suggests Paul Muller was likely a German immigrant himself, possibly suffering from severe mental illness. His selection of German-American families might have stemmed from his ability to recognize German surnames and customs, making target selection easier. The covered mirrors, a German funeral tradition, hinted at his cultural background. For decades, these unalivings remained unsolved, with local law enforcement treating them as isolated incidents. It wasn't until author Bill James and his daughter Rachel conducted extensive research that the pattern emerged. They discovered that the unaliver used the railways to move between crime scenes, striking communities along the train routes. Through meticulous investigation, they identified the suspect as Paul Muller, a German immigrant who arrived in America in the 1880s. However, Muller was never caught. He simply vanished, possibly returning to Germany or meeting his end somewhere along the endless miles of railroad tracks he used to hunt his victims. His story serves as a haunting reminder of how one person's darkness can cast a shadow across an entire nation, and how some mysteries of the past continue to haunt us to this day. If you found this story interesting, like, comment, subscribe, and follow for more.